morning traffic and weather as well, helping out Chris. Welcome to Charlotte.
Thank you.
You got to start with the name. I mean, some of us go through life with names like Ben Thompson, and others go through life with a name like yours. Did your parents know you were destined to be in weather and be?
I mean, maybe my mom knew. I have no clue. It was never really embraced as a little girl. It was just like, well, this is your name, but it's my real name. Everyone's like, is that really your name or is it your stage name? It's my real name. And all of my siblings have normal names. I'm just the one with the odd one that you either love or you hate, but you never forget it.
You don't forget a name like Majestic Storm. We're taking a look at some pictures now that you've shared with us.
Yes. And so I'm originally from the Pacific Northwest. So grew up in Washington State. I moved here with my cat Kiki, my big Great Dane Annie, and there she is. She's not a Dalmatian. People get confused. And then my boyfriend Jack. But that's my dad. He came from Seattle to Arkansas, which is where I used to forecast recently. And we drove the U-Haul all the way to North Carolina. It was so much fun, but we love adventuring. We love finding like fun little Airbnbs and cabins and anything outdoors we love to do. So we're looking for all the Charlotte recommendations.
So growing up in the Pacific Northwest, working in Arkansas, what are you excited about forecasting being here in the Carolinas?
I'm excited to learn about hurricanes. Never lived in an area where you even get any impacts from a hurricane. So
we got that.
To learn about that.
Well, hopefully not this year, but
right.
That's not
fingers crossed.
Well, we could not be more excited to have you.
Thank you.
We're very glad that you're here.
Early mornings with you guys.
That's right. That's right. By the way, we'll have a lot more with Majestic coming up on WCNC Plus. Speaking of, for the latest breaking news, weather and traffic, it all doesn't end right here.
Our conversation and the headlines continue on WCNC Plus. Make sure you join us there.
streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We're going to check out our forecast now this Tuesday with meteorologist Chris Mulcahy.
Good morning, y'all. Who's ready for my pick of the week? It's going to be fantastic. Hi, Brighton Mountain. You can see things are decently bright, even though we have a good amount of cloud cover up here, and it's going to be a little bit cooler up here as well. I want to start with you with the photo of the day. This is from Linville Gorge, taken over the last week. The beautiful rhododendrons over the gorge right there. Absolutely gorgeous. You have our mountain forecast looking at the mid 60s today. Overall, partly sunny to mostly cloudy here, so at least we're not dealing with the rain that we saw yesterday. And the foothills in the northwest Piedmont, 77 popular temperature from Hickory, Taylorsville, Morganton, and then 78 degrees right around Maiden, and then that's what we're rolling around the greater Charlotte area down to the southeast, just a tad warmer up to about 80 degrees. We'll be back to around that 80 degree point by about the middle of the week, but it comes with a catch. So the one thing you need to know, today is the pick of the week. Today is the day that we get outside and enjoy. It feels great, looks great. You'll just have more of those cumulus clouds scattering across the sky a little bit later on. The Knights are also back in town. That's a 6-game stretch from Tuesday to Sunday, taking on the Redbirds, and this is an amazing baseball forecast, really comfortable. I still think this is the type of environment you don't need to wear a sweatshirt by the time that you hit the 9th inning and the Knights are celebrating their victory. You as well. It might be a little bit on the chilly side, so depending on your temperature tolerance, you might want to have a sweatshirt with you. No rain to worry about, so that's always great. Our hourly forecast tomorrow, though, we're seeing a big change. Tomorrow morning, I think we have a lot more clouds, and you don't see any discoloration here on these bars on the bottom, meaning that we don't have an absolute rain chance, but a few sprinkles to a spotty light rain shower I don't think is out of the question by the back end of the day. So isolated for your Wednesday, spotty Wednesday night. It's Thursday that's our next chance for showers and thunderstorms. Here's a futurecast. We're going to roll through the next 3 days, seeing pop-up showers really later on, but it's going to be that cloud cover that increases. We're looking at that widespread cloud cover overall as we are working our way through the day. And then that cloud cover is going to be especially thick for your Wednesday morning. And it's a spotty rain shower, as I mentioned, by the back end of your Wednesday as well. By your Thursday, look at this. Decent amount of rain down towards the south of I-85. This isn't a big wet weather maker, but it could be a wet road to begin the day. Look at the change by the afternoon. Thursday, 1, it's feeling a little bit stickier. 2, temperatures driving into the lower 80s. And 3, we got a front. Mix those together. That's the recipe for a thunderstorm. That's exactly what we're panning out to be. So the big change I have in the forecast compared to yesterday, instead of a spotty rain shower chance, better chance for a developing shower or storm. This is the worst case scenario. This literally shows 1 thunderstorm turning to 2, 2 to 4 to 8, and then eventually it forms a little bit of line. If this scenario does pan out, even though we're not under a technical severe weather outlook, there will be a chance for some gusty winds along this line, and I think that rain is going to hover into your Friday morning. So Friday morning looks to be the wettest, and then we might dry out a little bit later on in the day, and this is all associated with a front that's lifting into the area. So another look at our futurecast, a better chance. That timing, I think, is really starting to trigger anytime between about 2 and 4 o'clock, and then that'll continue into the evening hours. Also, you can see the shift from northwest to the southeast, kind of a typical cold front setup there. Our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast shows temperatures a little bit cooler once you get past Friday. That's so that front drifts back down towards the south. That'll keep us in the 60s for Saturday under an overcast sky. Maybe a little bit of sunshine, a slight chance for rain on your Mother's Day. The day that looks like widespread rain, Monday. That looks to be the wettest, at least so far. Becca, how's our morning commute doing to start off the 7 o'clock hour?
Not looking too bad, but lots of extra traffic out there, especially over towards York County on 77 northbound, especially after you pass Gold Hill Road. That's where you're seeing some of those slowdowns there in those northbound lanes on the left-hand side of your screen there. Very typical for this time of day. Seeing the same trend across North Charlotte as well. This is I-77 at Atondo Avenue, just a little bit slow as drivers head inbound into uptown Charlotte. Got a couple of incidents out there that are causing some problems, including this one on Statesville Road at Long Creek Park Drive. In addition, over towards the Ballantyne area, still have that active crash impacting the inner loop of I-45. This is heading westbound at Johnston Road. You can see the oranges and reds associated with this. Will likely add several extra minutes to that morning commute.
7:05 now. We're on top of a heartbreaking story in Waxhaw this morning.
A 22-year-old college student was killed while visiting friends in Columbia over the weekend. It happened during a home break-in. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane now live here on WCNC Plus. And Richard, it appears, at least from what investigators are telling that she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, that makes this tragedy even more terrible to think of. As a parent, you can only imagine your child goes away to be with friends for what was supposed to be a weekend of fun, just visiting with college buddies and friends, and it turns into a terrible tragedy when you can only imagine getting that call, a parent's worst nightmare, after finding out that their 22-year-old daughter is shot and killed while visiting her friends. It happened in Columbia, South Carolina. Police say Logan Federico, a college student from Waxhaw, was visiting friends in Columbia. Police say that 30-year-old Alexander Dickey had broken into 2 homes, stealing items including wallets, keys, a gun. When he broke into the second home, he fired a shot, striking and killing Federico, who police say was not an intended target. He fled in a stolen vehicle and used her bank cards before eventually barricading himself in a Lexington County home, which caught fire during a police standoff. Dickey was captured and now remains in custody. Logan's father described her as a fun-loving Taylor Swift fan who dreamed of becoming a teacher. Her friends now call themselves Logan's Crew. They vow to keep her memory alive. Her father with a message for the man accused of taking her young life.
Who took my daughter's life. This is from her. You can't kill my spirit. You might be able to kill my body, my physical, but you cannot kill my love that my family and friends shared with me.
You know, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. We don't do this often, but these are important. We fight for our victims, and it's important for us to tell a story. We're all moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and this touches all of us in a way that it'll never leave us.
Dickey is currently being held on a number of charges, including burglary as well as murder. We're here in South Carolina. We'll send it back to you.
Richard, I know investigators also talked about a standoff and a house fire during the arrest. What's the story there?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we can say that Dickey is also being charged with arson, so they're accusing him of setting that fire as well.
So a number of charges for that suspect. Richard Devane live with that story for us in South Carolina. Richard, thank you. 7:08 right now on WCNC Plus, and this morning a meltdown at Newark International Airport has lawmakers calling for an investigation. Officials say ongoing issues started after a walkout by air traffic controllers, in addition to runway construction and equipment outages due to outdated technology. This all leading to some travel nightmares for passengers. Reporter Sarah Wallace spoke to some of those frustrated passengers.
Lots of anxious looks at the board today in every terminal at Newark Liberty Airport. We met a frustrated Dana Clark trying to get back to Fort Lauderdale. Her first delay coming into New Jersey was last week.
I was delayed getting in here on United, and I'm getting delayed getting out of here on JetBlue. I'm just a little annoyed because I've never been delayed so much in my life.
A mixed bag for Mary and Russ Rogers, who are heading back to Sarasota after a family weekend here. Their flight back is on time, but getting here, also a nightmare.
We were delayed, 6 hours coming here on Thursday. Yes, yeah. And we were going to a First Communion, and everybody was coming from 4 different cities. Everybody got delayed.
I can't believe that something like this could happen like this. You know what I mean? Better control of the airline.
Officials say the perfect storm at Newark was sparked by a walkout by FAA air traffic controllers, runway construction, and equipment outages due to outdated technology. The CEO of United announced it was canceling 35 round-trip flights daily. The Trump administration has said it's working on all of the issues, including solving a nationwide shortage of air traffic controllers. But Senator Chuck Schumer thinks there should be an independent investigation by the Office of the Inspector General.
To say that there is just minor turbulence at Newark Airport and the FAA, that would be the understatement of the year. We're here because the FAA is really a mess. This mess needs a real forensic look, a deep look into it.
The biggest frustration, flyers say, that they're kept in the dark until the last minute. This couple just arrived from Amsterdam, trying to connect to get home to Richmond, Virginia.
We found out when we were down in baggage claim.
And they said
that the flight, we looked at the United app and they said the flight had been canceled.
all the airlines, because we couldn't get on any other planes. So it must be affecting others too.
That was Sarah Wallace reporting. Today is your last day to get a real ID before tomorrow's deadline. Starting tomorrow, you will need a real ID to fly domestically in the United States and to enter any federal buildings. This morning, DMV officials are warning about long lines at offices across North Carolina. A reminder that there is no need to rush unless you plan to take a flight anytime soon. A valid passport, green card, or military ID can be used if you don't have a real ID. Happening today in North Carolina, the House Finance Committee is expected to discuss a bill that could finally give state DMVs a break. House Bill 821 would extend the life of existing licenses by another 2 years. Lawmakers say it would allow the DMV to catch up with its growing backlog. That meeting is happening at 9 this morning.
A major development overnight in the North Carolina Supreme Court race. A federal judge now ordering the State Board of Elections to certify incumbent Democrat Allison Riggs as the winner of that race. It comes after Republican challenger Jefferson Griffin lost by just 734 votes. For the last 6 months, he's been challenging tens of thousands of ballots, but now that judge says those efforts are unconstitutional. Griffin has 7 days to appeal. His team says they are reviewing that order.
7:12 now. Starting tomorrow, you will notice a new face joining the WCNC Charlotte team.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Majestic Storm.
Thank you.
That she's going to be joining us every morning from 4 to 37 over on WCNC, and then of course after that here on WCNC Plus, doing traffic, doing weather, doing
All
a little
the
bit of
things.
everything. All right. I do feel like we've talked about it, but
Yes.
we have to. The first thing to do is talk about your name.
Did you think it was my real name, or did you think it was a stage name?
No, we were like, she made that
Really?
up.
What about you, Chris?
I did, only because one of my best friends is named Larry Sprinkle. And people ask him
Larry
the same
and
question.
I have an automatic connection all of a
Yes.
sudden. Like,
Yes.
if we have a weather name, I think we're just automatically like
By the way,
channeling each other's
I
energy.
have already called dibs. I'm getting a photo in between the two of them and caption it between a sprinkle and a storm.
Okay,
That's good.
So funny. But it is my real name. Everyone always asks, is that your stage name or is that your real name? Or people, maybe they'll be getting ready early in the morning and watching the TV and they're like,
right.
We thought a storm was named Majestic, and then it kept on popping up and popping up.
Yeah.
And the name Storm never went away. It's like they didn't recognize them or make them notice that it was actually my name until they actually
It's a
took a
person.
second.
Wow.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. By the way, we're looking at pictures right now.
Tell us who we're seeing.
So this is my dad. He came all the way from Seattle. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, and I just moved from Arkansas, so I've been forecasting there for a few years. And he came all the way to Arkansas, packed up my U-Haul, came all the way to North Carolina to help me with my adventure here. And adventures is really like what I love. I wanted to show this picture because this is when I was in Montana recently with my mom and my boyfriend, and we went dog sledding.
That's cool.
So any type of adventures we want to do all the time. So packed up my Great Dane, my cat, and we are here, and we're excited to just live in Charlotte and to live in a city. I've never lived in a city before, so that's a little different.
Fun.
I'm adjusting to a few things, like I'm not used to always hearing cars outside of my house.
That's
I'm
right.
used to like seeing fields and cows.
Yeah.
But
And
not so much here.
I have to call this out. It was a couple of days ago. He's like, Chris, you never told me about the snakes. You saw a giant snake the other day, so.
You guys, not just on a trail, but it was in my yard.
Yeah.
A huge black snake. And I'm not
Yeah.
talking about like a foot. It was about 5 feet long.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
We had a black
Carolinas.
snake in one of our crepe myrtles
They're good
last
snakes.
year.
Really?
Yeah, but it was big. It was not.
Yeah.
It was,
Oh my God.
And then Chris goes on to say, well, one time a snake was above my door.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just to traumatize me a little more. But it takes a
Welcome.
lot more than that to scare me off.
So you are going to love Charlotte, though. No
Yep.
concerns about that. You're really going to love it here. But I'm wondering what brought you to love forecasting. Was it the name Majestic Storm, or how did that start?
Not really. Growing up, I didn't even know I had a cool weather name. It wasn't ever really embraced. It was just like, your name's Majestic.
Okay.
So it wasn't even until after I really started liking weather that I connected the dots. Like, well, this is interesting, you know, but I grew up with a single mom, and she always made the little things really fun for us. And one of the things was weather. Like, she loves the weather. So on our first big snow day of the season, she would surprise me and take me out of school, and we'd have a snow day together. We'd like build big, huge snowmen and igloos, and we'd put food coloring in like the snow and like make ice cones, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So things like that, or like watching big thunderstorms in the back of our fields, or just anything that had to do with weather. That was just so fun, and it became really nostalgic. So I just went to school as a first-generation college student, got my broadcast journalism degree, and then I liked weather just a lot because I wasn't really sure what to do with it first. I knew I wanted to do something with news. I knew I wanted to do weather, but I didn't have a lot of direction. So I was like, let's just go to the Edward R. Murrow College of Communication over at Washington State University. Did that, and then after that, I wanted to just really become like a scientist, wanted to know weather. So then I went to Mississippi State, got my meteorology degree, and it's been great ever since
Here
then.
you are.
Wonderful.
What are you looking forward to most when it comes to forecasting here in the Carolinas?
Well, there's a few things I think that are definitely attractive when I think about the Carolinas. The mountains, of course. It makes me feel like I'm at home out there in Washington. And then just living near a beach. I've never lived towards a beach. You know, I lived in Eastern Washington, not like Seattle or anything.
Right.
But just learning a whole different weather pattern, and that's really me. My brain is like a sponge, and I want to learn all different parts of the country. So kind of did the Pacific Northwest, and then Tornado Alley, which was wild. So now just learning more about the Southeast. And while I don't want to see the major impacts of a hurricane, I'm excited to learn what it's like to live in the Southeast and learn how to forecast, you know, a hurricane and stuff like that. Because you learn that in school, but you know, being a meteorologist is so much more than just starting your day off with a smile. It's like truly being that person that people can turn to when it comes to life or death weather as well.
Do you have a favorite type of weather? Every weather person has, like, I love thunderstorms, snowstorms. What is your favorite?
It really depends. I feel like where I live in the country. Living in Arkansas the last 3 years, I remember the first thunderstorm that happened. I was like, Mom, it feels like I'm in a car wash because the rain comes down so heavily. The sky just like lights up with so many lightning strikes, and it's so loud. So I loved thunderstorms, but then I also really love snow a lot. Like, the more snow, the better. And I think that kind of brings me back to my childhood memories of just growing up in the Pacific Northwest.
You have to go to the mountains. So luckily it's nearby.
The good news is that you can go about an hour and 45 minutes
Yes.
in the wintertime and get all the snow you could possibly
Yes.
Just don't bring all that to Charlotte. We don't need all that snow.
So
Don't
I've
do
heard.
that.
So I've heard.
So
Yes.
what is your favorite thing that you've been here for a couple of weeks now? What's your favorite thing so far that you've done or seen or explored in the Charlotte area?
Well, I've never lived anywhere where it's so walkable, where I can just step outside and I can go to Camp North End. I can hop on the Greenway and walk the dogs. I can head up to Noto. So just kind of exploring those spots have been really fun. But I'm a huge outdoors person. So the Greenway is awesome. But I'm also looking for recommendations when it comes to, like, where do I go camping? Where do I go and find a hike with a really cool view? Or are there camp spots like on the beach that I can take my dog to, because my dog has never been to the ocean?
Oh, that's going to be cool.
So those things.
It won't come as a surprise to the two that know me, but I'm not much of a camper.
You mean you're not going to go spend a weekend in a tent with us?
But I can tell you some good hiking locations and trails, and you know, Crowder's Mountain's super close. Like up that, beyond that, go up to the mountains like Blue and Blowing Rock.
Yes.
Blue Ridge Parkway.
And Lake Norman. I'm very excited to go like kayaking. Maybe I'll find some boat friends at some time. I don't know. Until then, I'll just go take a dip.
You will.
That's all you gotta do.
Absolutely will.
And hang out with Chris a lot, which I'm very excited to be working alongside you.
I'm not much of a camper, but I have done it in the past. So
I don't know if I'll be a camper after these snakes. That might change things for me.
Change your tune real quick. Listen, honestly, we could not be more excited to have you.
Thank you.
We really are.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
And you are going to love it here. Love it. Promise.
Majestic Storm.
That's right.
All right, everybody.
What a name. All right. How about the forecast?
Well, good to have you by my side, Majestic. And we are dealing with some drought conditions, so we're going to need more storms. And we are looking down towards the south and southeast. That is mainly going to be the biggest cause of concern, where you're talking about some wildfires that were over in Brunswick County. And the reason why is because we are so dry. So anytime you have that darker brown color, that's representing a severe drought. We're not under extreme drought as of yet. We have seen some improvements, mainly further off towards the west, just east of the Raleigh area along the I-95 corridor in the northern part of the state. But South Carolina, almost entirely under drought status. Pretty much every county has some sort of either abnormally dry status to at least a moderate drought. So luckily, we just got some rain widespread across the area, and we are seeing some nice improvements. So about that inch plus that we saw on Saturday, and then the eastern zones also saw a decent amount of rain yesterday and the last couple of days. So things are trending in a great direction. So good news there. As far as our extended forecast, I want to get you to your 10-10-10 forecast. So our high temperature is going forward. Today we have 78, and we are back to 81. That's going to be the warmest temperature that we have over the next 7. Then we see a big dip. Notice how we're either side of 70 degrees here. At this point, I'm factoring in more clouds, and you also have more rain, especially on Monday. Once we get another front to roll through, another warm one, that's going to bring us back down up into the mid 80s. But in the meantime, more 70s than 80s for the next week. Our low temperatures also hitting their bottom. Today, tomorrow, almost the exact same low. Yesterday we were at 52 as well. So we're hovering around the lower 50s range, then jumping up and down through the 50s before we start to see more of those 60s. And as far as the extended rain chances go, it's your Monday that looks to be the wettest, and that could jog into your Tuesday, and then we just have some spotty rain chances after that. So there's a couple of major periods that we're looking at as far as that rain goes. As for our next chance for a significant rainfall, I think it's going to be Thursday. Now, I think it's very spotty activity overall for tomorrow, but the only day that we really have a chance for thunderstorms, and that's where you're going to get some of the heavier rain for sure, it's going to be right here. So it's on your Thursday morning that we first have a passing shower, but it's the middle of the afternoon. By noon, I think we're starting to see some of those darker clouds starting to form. By about 2 to 3 o'clock, we're going to have a few isolated cells. Now, this is the most aggressive model that I have here, not guaranteeing that this is going to happen, but this case and scenario is almost sneaky. When you just have a general chance for thunderstorms, nothing severe as of yet, but this is still day 3 of the forecast. I would not be surprised that this day might be put into a low risk for severe storms just because of the potential in the environment. It's a little bit soupier this day, and it's also going to be a little bit warmer into the lower 80s. And whenever you see one storm grow to 2 to 4 to 8 and start to form a line, that's going to increase your severe winds, or a potential at least for some gusty winds along this, and also a very busy end to the day heading into your evening commute. So that's one thing to really stand by on. Outside of that, you're going to see on and off rain heading through your Friday, and then spotty showers heading into your Mother's Day weekend. But fingers crossed, we can keep it dry for Mom. Now I want to get to our morning commute with Becca. And Becca, it has been great having you. Been a great fill-in while we were waiting for Majestic.
Oh, I appreciate it. And outside right now, you know, it's been a pretty nice Tuesday morning commute so far. Taking a live look outside from I-77 at I-85 and both interstates running just a little bit slow for this time of day, although no reports of any incidents or accidents on the major interstates and highways, at least in the Charlotte area. Want to get to a couple of crashes out there, including this one, and this is impacting Honduras Drive at Sugar Creek Road, and then over towards Gaston County. Got a couple of incidents out there, including this one. This is a crash on I-85 northbound impacting Bessemer City Road with at least one lane of traffic blocked off. And you can see that stretch of delays there. In addition, further towards McAdenville, you just got the regular slowdown. So some of the average speeds and some of the slowest speeds there running anywhere from 13 to 16 miles per hour.
In our 37th year with Animal Care and Control, time for our Tuesday morning tail wagger, and today's tail wagger is Leica. Leica likes to stop and smell the daisies. She's about a year old, weighs around 55 pounds, a spayed female, knows some commands, a little bit shy at first, but after that, she will love you. What a great dog. Easy to train, knows commands, gets along with not only other people but other dogs, and loves children. Hey, you got a Leica. Her name is Leica. Here's what you can do. You can make an appointment by calling 704-336-7600. 336-7600. They're open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday, both days, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. One more time, once again, this is Leica, weighs somewhere from about 50 to 55 pounds. She is about a year old. And how can you turn it down? You got a Leica. That's Leica, our Tuesday morning tail wagger.
Thanks, Larry. Well, trending this morning, it's billed as the fashion event of the year. We're talking about the annual Met Gala.
Last night, celebrities and A-listers walked the blue carpet at the Metropolitan Museum in New York City, all showcasing some spectacular fashions inspired by this year's theme, Superfine, tailoring black style. And once again, Rihanna stole the show. She showed up to the gala and revealed her new baby bump. She arrived at 10 p.m. about an hour after the last attendees headed inside, but that's okay because she's Rihanna. She wore a pinstripe gown with a cropped suit jacket and hat, showing off that bump.
Check this out. This is the queen, Diana
Right.
Ross. She still knows how to make an entrance. She showed up in a white feathered cape and a gown that was highlighted by the 18-foot-long train. This was her first Met Gala appearance since 2003.
More of our favorite looks coming up in the 8 a.m. hour of WCNC Plus. In the meantime, live pictures right now over Uptown. Coming up in just 1 minute, we'll have another check of your forecast and traffic. And we're back with the headlines of the morning at 7:30 right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everybody. Mid-60s, more clouds up here in the mountains, sliding down through the foothills. Northwest Piedmont, we have the upper 70s throughout, up and down and across the I-40 corridor, I-85, and then down to the southeast, peaking at 80 degrees from Chester over to Rockingham. This is a great day. Dare I even say my pick of the week? That's right. This is the best one because we don't have to worry about any rain chances right away. Great night to head out to the ballpark as well. It's going to be perfect baseball weather rolling forward, but things are going to change, my friends. What we're expecting for the extended forecast is back to the lower 80s by Thursday. A slight chance for rain tomorrow under a cloudier sky, but this is the next day that we have a chance for thunderstorms. So some heavier downpours, gusty winds could come from that as well. More rain, especially in the first half of your Friday, and then spotty showers through this weekend before we have more widespread rain on Monday. Becca, take it away. What's going on?
All right, well, traffic only continues to build out there as we take a live look outside. This is I-77 at West Boulevard just before you hit the John Bilk Freeway. And here are the biggest problem spots out there. I want to take you to Gaston County where we've got this active crash blocking the left lane of traffic on I-85 northbound at Bessemer City Road. This will definitely add several extra minutes to that morning commute. In addition, a Ballantyne crash on the inner loop of I-45 at Johnston Road.
Live now at 7:30 right here on WCNC Plus. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. New homes are finally going up on the former Eastland Mall site, but some of them come with a hefty price tag, with starting prices just under $600,000.
WCNC Charlotte's Walker Lawson found out what some in the community think about this next phase of redevelopment.
Well, behind me, you can see those structures are already starting to go up for those homes and townhomes that are being priced at right around $500,000 starting out. Now, that price point has led to some confusion on this side of town, as people are saying it's an area that's exploding with affordable housing.
It's ridiculous. I don't see how they can get that much.
For some East Charlotte residents, the new price tag at Eastland Yards feels out of touch.
The way Charlotte's growing and everything, they're making it unaffordable.
The development is part of a 78-acre plan to reimagine the former Eastland Mall site, blending residential, retail, and even a future sports and entertainment complex. The homes, now officially listed for sale, are part of what's called Central Village at Eastland Yards and include 38 single-family homes and townhomes. Developer Saucy Burbank calls it a thoughtfully designed neighborhood aimed at shaping East Charlotte's future. So far, they say they've seen interest, but not as much as they were hoping for.
Good number of like 30 or 40 people so far. It doesn't seem, I mean, obviously you're going to have a couple people push back on the price point and say, hey, it's a little bit more than they hoped. But I'd say the collective mass has said, hey, that doesn't seem to be our challenge, right? So I think the area it's one of those redeveloping areas, right? It's the city starting to kind of grow, starting to push out.
City Council member Marjorie Molina, who represents the district, says opinions in the community are divided.
Some say we have too many affordable units, and some would say we need as many as we can get, right?
Molina believes it's good to have a mix on the former Eastland Mall site, as they've already cut the ribbon on some affordable housing units on the property.
Again, it's a mixed development, right? For sale, for rent, diversity of age, diversity of income, diversity of offerings, and I think it's a decent mix.
Saucy Burbank expects the home builds to take 4 years. Reporting in East Charlotte, Walker Lawson, WCNC Charlotte.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is a delightful day today. Let's raise that weather IQ, shall we? So I want to show you something. This deck of clouds, notice how they're a little lumpy? Pretty cool, right? Well, this is actually a mix of two different types of clouds. So oftentimes, whenever you look up, there's usually 10 main cloud types, and we're going to learn a little bit more about this in our weather IQ tomorrow. But this is a mix of what's called altocumulus clouds, and that's usually up to about 10,000 to about 20,000 feet, but also a mix of those cirrocumulus. And oftentimes when they're way up there, it's called a mackerel sky, and that can usually mean a precursor of some event coming, and this time, that's not the case. That's why all that weather folklore is not always accurate. So you can see some of that cloud cover here on the radar. This is just a little trough that's pushing through. We don't have enough moisture to really fire up any rain along this dashed line. A big low continues to spiral a lot of rain. That's hours of rain, almost a washout for the western side of Ohio. In the meanwhile, that's going to block all these fronts down towards the south. And this cloud cover that you're seeing down here in Alabama and Georgia, that's going to move its way into the Carolinas by tomorrow, and it's a much cloudier day. That's why I've been deeming today my pick of the week, because this is the last day that we don't have at least some isolated rain shower chance for the next several days. And it's also very comfortable because soon as we head deeper and deeper into May, it's going to start to feel a little bit more steamy, and these beautiful fall-like feels or spring-like weather is not going to be out and about. As far as our best rain chances going forward, I think it's Thursday afternoon into the evening, and then again it's going to be Friday for the first half of the day, and then a much better chance Sunday night all the way through Monday. Now Monday, it's day 7. A lot can still change, but looking at the long range futurecast, this is our best chance for the most rain in the day, but also our closest chance for a washout status. So we're already calling for widespread rain on day 7 of the forecast. That's pretty significant. And our dew point forecast also showing a little spike into the humid range, so feeling a little bit more sticky on Thursday heading into Friday. That's also going to up our storm potential. So over the next 36 hours, we got this guy that's going to churn and burn off off towards the north, but then you can see some rain down towards the south. I think really over the coming days, probably over the next 7, if you live in South Carolina, expect more rain than North Carolina just in general, with all of us seeing rain as we work our way through the coming days. But our rainfall chances, as I mentioned, Monday is the number 1, but Thursday and Friday are numbers 2 and 3 for at least the amount of rain that we're going to see. Our futurecast showing some pop-up clouds, just like yesterday. Notice how all of a sudden it was sunny and then you popped up those cumulus clouds throughout the day. I think we're going to have the same scenario, so scattered cumulus throughout the day. More clouds by tomorrow morning. That's going to increase to mostly cloudy status at one point, and you are even going to see some darker cloud bottoms. I think tomorrow mainly looks like it's going to rain compared to actually rain. You might have a few sprinkles, but no real storms. And as we are working our way through the overnight, there's another batch of rain that could greet us for our Thursday morning commute. But here is the main event. I think by the middle of the afternoon, we have another front that's going to be rolling through. But you know, I'm going to get to that later. First, I'm going to hit to your traffic impacts with Becca.
All right, getting reports of a potential new accident on I-77 northbound at Arrowwood Road. Haven't confirmed that just yet, but you can see it is very slow moving on those northbound lanes on the right-hand side of your screen there. Just keep that in mind. In addition, over towards the University City area, we've got this new incident impacting inbound North Tryon Street at Owen Boulevard. This is reports of a crash involving a school bus, and at least one lane of traffic is blocked off. Also, over towards Gaston County, you've got a left lane blocked on I-85 and northbound at Bessemer City. Again, a big stretch of delays continues with that incident. Also, Ballantyne area still have that active crash impacting at least one lane of traffic, and this is on the inner loop of I-485 heading westbound at Johnston Road. Drive safe, y'all.
Now to Lancaster, where a 12-year-old has pleaded guilty to intentionally starting a fire inside a Walmart. 12 years old. Video from a WCNC viewer showing the flames and chaos erupting in the store Sunday. It happened at the same Walmart where 2 people were hurt in a shooting last month. Thankfully, in this case, nobody was hurt. Right now, the suspect expected to remain in police custody for a mental evaluation before facing a judge.
In Valentine, a man is facing serious charges after an act of vandalism was caught on camera. It shows a man slashing dozens of tires Saturday at a Publix store. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre spoke to victims who say this could have gone very differently.
In the matter of moments, a quiet parking lot in Valentine turned into a crime scene, marked by flat tires and shaken customers Saturday. Surveillance video shows a man moving through the parking lot with what appeared to be a pocket knife in hand, slashing tires.
I saw him probably stab like 5 different cars while I was driving away, just going up to the cars and just stabbing it with a knife and slashing the tires.
So we all coming down and see he already stabbed 2 of my client tire parked over here. And so we look all over, all these cars on the front row got stabbed.
CMPD arresting 30-year-old Darren Ransom and charging him with 40 counts of injury to personal property.
I'm glad he's safely off the streets, but I'm hoping he can get whatever help he needs.
Ransom was set to appear in court Monday to answer to those charges, but he never stepped into the courtroom. He also refused to take a mugshot and refused to provide fingerprints. He remains behind bars.
He definitely seemed a little bit disturbed, to say the least.
Joshua Lewis was one of the victims listed on the police report.
I could see he got about 3 of my tires, so yeah, very unfortunate, but glad nobody got hurt.
Despite the scare, people are relieved no one was hurt.
Some people were a little scared, but you know, like I said, we saw that he wasn't going after anybody in particular, so I think we were all just collectively glad about that.
Well, all this comes after Charlotte City Manager presented the 2026 budget to leaders last night here in Charlotte. The nearly $943 million proposal covers funding for police, transit, and housing. And while it does not include any property tax increases, costs for other services like waste and water will go up, totaling an extra $7.50 a month. Officials say the proposal also assumes Mecklenburg County voters will approve a 1-cent sales tax later this year to pay for those future transit projects we've talked about. If that doesn't pass, though, they will need another revenue source.
We have 2,000 projects that we need to find a funding source for, and it just seems that having the sales tax makes a lot of sense because, one, it's immediate, and about 30% of it comes from people who don't live in Mecklenburg County.
The budget would also raise the minimum wage for city employees to $24 an hour and includes pay increases for police and fire workers.
7:40 now into New York, where jury selection continues this morning in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. NBC's Rahima Ellis has the latest from New York City.
Of 50 prospective jurors, all but 19 were let go. All had said they heard something about the Sean Diddy Combs case. Juror number 2, a licensed massage therapist, said he was unsure of his opinion and would need more information. The jurors were also asked about several high-profile celebrities like Kanye West, Michael B. Jordan, and Mike Myers. None of them have been accused of any crimes, and it's not quite clear why they were even mentioned. When the 55-year-old Combs entered the courtroom, he was in regular street clothes, and he hugged his attorneys. He's been accused of several crimes, including racketeering and sex trafficking. He has vehemently denied these charges, but if convicted, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. The judge says he hopes to seat a jury by this week, and the case could last 2 months. Back to you.
Rahima, thank you for that. Now let's go to live pictures of Vatican City this morning. On the eve of the conclave, tomorrow cardinals will begin the process of choosing the next pope. NBC's Jay Gray reports now on WCNC Plus from Vatican City.
On the eve of the conclave, the magnitude of their decision weighs on the Catholic cardinals who will elect their new pope.
The problems that are in the world, for peace, for immigration, for freedom and for justice. There are so many things that need to be addressed.
Issues they've prayed about and discussed for more than a week following the funeral of Pope Francis. That time, a vital part of the process.
One of the most important times in the selection of a new pope, because this is the time that the cardinals get together and get to know each other. Some of them don't know each other very well. And so there's a lot of meetings.
Tomorrow, the meetings, the talks will end as they gather behind the locked doors of the Sistine Chapel.
Once it really starts, there will be 2 votes in the morning, 2 votes in the afternoon. And this is done in the Sistine Chapel in total silence, except for the counting of the votes.
Counting that continues until a 2/3 majority agrees on who will lead the world's largest Christian denomination with more than 1.4 billion members.
We will do what we can, knowing that God is with us and that we're here to make truth, justice, and charity.
Laying out a path for the future of their faith. Now, here's what we anticipate taking place tomorrow. The cardinal electors will take part in a mass in the morning. Then that afternoon, they will enter the Sistine Chapel. The doors will be locked behind them. We expect that there will be at least 1 vote tomorrow. Jay Gray, NBC News at the Vatican.
A culinary competition is heating up and making waves throughout Charlotte. The Charlotte Regional Farmers Market has added a new cooking competition called Can You Cook?
Can you?
I make reservations. I can cook, but I'm better at reservations.
She makes reservations. The inaugural cook-off will put local amateur chefs to the test. Participants will create dishes using, here's the thing, only ingredients purchased fresh from the market that morning. WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris joins us now live this morning. And Miles, this is all really about showcasing some of the area's younger chefs.
You're absolutely right there, Ben. By the way, Lisa, yes, I am right there with you where I make the reservations rather than cooking. But look, who doesn't love a little competition, especially when it includes food? And that is exactly what the organizers with Can You Cook are doing. Showcasing or giving these young chefs a chance to showcase their skills while also introducing healthy meals to our community. Bringing an epic culinary cook-off to life and right in Charlotte. Can You Cook is a local competition putting local chefs to the test.
I created the event to educate consumers and shoppers on cooking with real whole foods.
The concept is simple but challenging. Chefs get 45 minutes to showcase the quality and variety of local produce while promoting the importance of supporting local farmers and food producers. John Rhodes, who created the event, says it's aimed at inspiring our community about healthier options.
The food system, man, it's not set up for our best interests at all. Coupled with a fitness industry that's selling us numerical expectations that does not prepare us for the commitment I wanted to create something to where I can educate the community on cooking with real whole foods and also taking care of my personal body, my own personal body, and showing that at my events.
Contestants range from home cooks to culinary students, all passionate about farm-to-table cooking, serving more than entertainment but education surrounding healthy food for all to enjoy.
And that's what we wanted to bring to the community. You don't have to just be a chef, because at the end of the day, we all need to eat and we love good food.
Now, guys, their next event, it is slated to be here at the Farmers Market on May 25th, and it is actually open to the public. But if you want to taste the food, if you actually want to be more a part of that competition, there are tickets available for that. And for more information on that next event, you can actually head over to our app, click on this story at WCNC, the Charlotte mobile app, and getting all that information and more. Ben and Lisa.
So, Miles, I guess one question is, do you need experience or can anyone give this a shot?
So as far as the chefs are involved with these cookouts, the organizer, John Rhodes, has actually been getting in contact with a lot of the local chefs in the Charlotte area, asking for them to be a part of these cook-offs. So if you're actually interested, if you think you actually have some skills to be able to put that to the test, actually reach out to John. Again, that information is on our app, it's on our website, and trying to be involved with those future events as well.
Not asking for me to participate, just so others, just so we're clear.
So inquiring minds
I'm right there with you. Don't worry. I'm right there with you.
We want to know if you had to cook something. Say you were trying to impress somebody.
Someone, yeah.
Someone. What would it be?
Okay, so I will admit, I make a cookie pie, and it is really, really good. We've had some coworkers try it earlier this year. That is my one secret, but it stops right there.
A pie.
Cookie pie. We see you.
All right, Miles.
I like it. Sounds good. Yeah. We'll wait for ours. Miles, thanks, sir.
Fair enough.
Appreciate it. All right, 7:46 right now on WCNC Plus. Turning now to your forecast, and some of the Carolinas dealing with severe weather and tornadoes. Chris is here to tell us all about it.
Yeah, and just to be clear, not today. Today is my pick of the week. We are good to go. But the tornado action that we're talking about is there was actually one that was reported here in North Carolina yesterday, and it was late on Saturday night. Maybe you were up late with Brad. Well, there was actually tornado damage, and that was officially a tornado confirmed just after midnight in Lincoln County. This was an EF0, and it only lasted about 3 minutes. It moved over the eastern parts of Lincoln County. It moved 1.36 miles. The max width was about 20 yards. It's pretty small for a tornado. And EF0 strength ranges anywhere from 65 to 85 miles per hour. This one's at 70, so the extreme lower end of the spectrum. But then meanwhile, we move over to the eastern side of the state. This is from supercell, so this one is a lot more significant. Strong storms move through central North Carolina, and these supercells continue to cause damage in several areas. In this video, as you can see, the tornado off into the distance forming in Jamesville, North Carolina. That was just after 8 o'clock. That's right near the Outer Banks, and the storm uprooted trees, knocked out power for thousands of customers. A lot of large hail associated with this, and a lot of isolated wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. So meanwhile, we had a great day here. The leftovers of that system that we had on Saturday into Sunday still was plaguing parts of the Carolinas. So let's break it down for you. So Cowan's Ford Dam, that's what we're calling it. Officially, it was at 12:43. That's that first one that we were mentioning that caused some tree damage and a weaker end overall. But this really shows a testament of the type of tornadoes that we see here. It's that QLCS tornadoes that quickly spin up something along the line. These come out of nowhere, and they happen really fast. So that sparked the tornado warning, and there was a lot of broad rotation that came from that. Here's the other tornado that we were just talking about, the amount of hail damage that came from this. A supercell is a rotating thunderstorm. 100% of all supercells will produce a hailstone of some size, oftentimes up to golf ball, even baseball size hail, especially over in the central parts of the United States. But the official reports for this is actually drone video that was showing that video that we just saw. Multiple reports of brief touchdowns associated with this. There was also a couple of reports of funnel clouds associated with this. But check this out. I'm actually going to jump over to the green screen. This is a classic supercell signature that we have left over. Whenever you have this little hook that's associated, this little guy right here, that shows it. So this had a nice little hail core that was in there. Oftentimes it's within this hook that you can have a tornado that spun out. It was actually this system right here to the north. The amount of lightning that came for this, whenever you have a lot of those positives, shows how tall that storm got up in the atmosphere. So luckily we didn't see these. And it's also the eastern side of the Carolinas also has another name known as Carolina Alley. So that's our tornado alley that's typically along the I-95 corridor. Our rain chances as of right now, just rain and storm chances, nothing really significant at this point, but I would not exclude the chance for some gusty winds. Really going forward, and as we're adding more moisture to the environment, we're going to have a chance for a thunderstorm. Oftentimes there will be the outside chance that it could turn severe, and I think that first starts on Thursday. Friday looks to be mainly just rain, dry out, and then it looks to be widespread rain again on Monday. So I think for right now in the near term, our best storm chance is Thursday afternoon. I'll get to that. Our next rain chance, not today, that's why today is my pick of the week. A spotty rain shower is possible on Wednesday. I think tomorrow looks more like it's going to rain than actual rain showers that are coming. So a spotty shower at most, I think most of us see a sprinkle to nothing at all. Then heading into your Thursday morning, chance for spotty to scattered showers will begin the morning. But look at the afternoon. Here's noon, not much happening. By the way, this blue background is the Storm Prediction Center just showing that, hey, there's a general chance for thunderstorms. Don't have any yellow yet. This is only day 3. I would not be surprised if we have at least a low-end chance for severe storms, either sparked up by tomorrow or at least on the day on Thursday, because check out the signature we're looking at. For one, a warm front driving into that heat and moisture. I think it's anytime between about 2 and 4 where we start to see a few thunderstorms pop up. Those thunderstorms can turn into numerous status, and that could also form a line. If this situation comes up, I'm showing you the worst case scenario, this likely would trigger a severe thunderstorm warning or 2 because it's along this leading edge. They could have some of those gustier winds. Also before that will be a chance for a little bit of hail because that environment's really perfect around the April to May time frame. Once we get to the middle of summer, hailstorms are a lot less likely just about how warm it is really throughout the storm. Our Guy Roofing 7-day forecast shows the top Thursday. That's also with 81-degree temperature. The warmest usually leads to the most unstable atmosphere. Then we have some cloudier skies and some cooler conditions, either side of 70 degrees through your Mother's Day weekend. Even though we do have a 20% chance for rain, if it does rain, it'll be more dry hours than wet ones. But then Sunday night heading into Monday, as of right now, we're looking at widespread rain. So Monday looking to be the wettest, Thursday looking to be the stormiest. As for right now, let's see how our morning commute is behaving. Weather check. Traffic, how's it looking?
Not looking so great. In fact, it's this time of the morning where we're seeing more red than green on the traffic map. So if you don't have to venture out early on this morning, would encourage you to wait. We have about 12 active crashes just across the Charlotte-Mecklenburg County area. Want to get to the newest ones first. This is going to be East Charlotte-Harrisburg Road at Reedy Creek Road, causing just a few minor delays there. And then over towards South Charlotte, this is where we have an active crash at the intersection of Park Road at Glen Eagles Road, really causing delays, especially towards those inbound lanes. We've got 2 interstate crashes. This first one is going to be in Gaston County, I-85 northbound at Bessemer City with that left lane currently blocked. And then over towards the Ballantyne area, that's where we still have that active crash on the inner loop of I-485 heading westbound at Johnston Road. And this will add several extra minutes to that morning commute. Also looking at some slowdowns, especially over towards Huntersville on I-77 northbound. Drive safe, y'all.
53 right now on WCNC Plus. Trending this morning, billed as the fashion event of the year. We are talking about the Met Gala last night.
And celebrities and A-listers walked the blue carpet at the Metropolitan Museum in New York City, all showcasing their spectacular fashions inspired by this year's theme, Superfine, tailoring black style. Once again, Rihanna stole the show.
You can see Lauryn Hill right there. She made a rare appearance. In fact, her first ever Met Gala appearance. The hip-hop icon wearing a yellow suit featuring a standing collar that draped down to a train.
Pretty nice bag there, too.
And then here's one I think that Lisa and I agree was
clear winner.
10 out of 10.
Clear winner. 12 out of 10.
That's right. 10s across the board. Zendaya. I mean, the hat, the suit. I don't know what to think about fashion, but
the swag, she nailed it. I mean, look at her.
Evidently Louis Vuitton, so very fancy. Styled, we're told, by Law Roach.
Law Roach.
I don't know. Is that
Law is very well known.
Okay.
Yep. And when some of the other, I guess, A-listers couldn't get the big fashion houses to style them, Law Roach came in and styled a number of them. She nailed it. I mean, it's simple, it's detailed, Very good, Zendaya. All right, take a look at Whoopi Goldberg. She made a rare Met appearance, arrived in a Thom Browne black and white tuxedo-expired gown with a collared button-down shirt, and it's peeking out there, I guess. It's her return to the Met in 4 years.
And then there's always some unexpected people, like Reverend Al Sharpton.
Okay.
All done up in a tux, nice raffle, like, you know, what do you call them?
I don't know what they call them. Just the ruffle there? I don't know.
Ruffle wrists of some sort.
He looks
very
good.
nice.
Okay, Janelle Monáe. This is an interesting look. The actress and singer stepped out in a larger-than-life Thom Browne creation that was reminiscent of a suit. After she arrived, she tore away the first layer to reveal a more fitted two-tone suit underneath.
Very nice.
That's different.
Very snazzy. Different, that's true.
Are we doing? No, we're not.
We're
All right. Oh, here's something. Did you know the tickets? $75,000. That's it. But the proceeds go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute, in case you're wondering.
That's good. All right. Live pictures right now over uptown as you start your Tuesday morning. Coming up in just a minute, another check of your forecast and your morning commute. And we're back with the headlines at the top of the hour right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. High temperatures in the upper 70s. As I've mentioned earlier, today is the pick of the week. Gorgeous skies right now. That's happening right now. Look at that blue sky. We are picking up a few more clouds as we head into the afternoon. I think we have a tad less cloud cover than yesterday. Partly cloudy skies. Highs in the mid to the upper 70s, so mid 70s for most of the afternoon. Enjoy it. Overnight tonight down to 52 degrees, so it's going to be another cool one to start off tomorrow. And then our high temperatures trending up. 81 degrees is the chance for thunderstorms on Thursday. Becca, I hear the commute's turning on us. What's going on?
Yeah, we're in the thick of rush hour commute, and as we take a live look outside, you can see it is very slow and just packed with traffic, packed like sardines on I-77 northbound. This is over towards Fort Mill and Gold Hill Road. Gold Hill Road as drivers approach Mecklenburg County. Just keep that in mind. Also got this crash. This is over towards the University City area. Inbound North Tryon Street at Owen Boulevard. Currently one lane blocked, and unfortunately that crash did involve a school bus. Here's the current active crashes across the area. Want to get to some of the newest ones, including this one. And this is over in South Charlotte, impacting the intersection at Park Road at Glen Eagles Road. This is going to be a road that you'll want to avoid.
You're streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A tragic end to a weekend visit. A 22-year-old Waxhaw College student shot and killed while visiting friends in Columbia.
Police say it happened during a break-in and that she was not the intended target.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is on top of this story for us. And Richard, we're also learning new details this morning about the suspect in this case.
Yeah, that suspect went on a spending spree with using part of the items that he stole from the victim that police say he's responsible for killing. A parent's worst nightmare. Their daughter, a 22-year-old daughter, shot and killed while she was visiting her friends down in Columbia. Police say Logan Federico, a college student from Waxhaw, was visiting her friends this weekend. They also say that 30-year-old Alexander Dickey had broken into 2 homes, stealing items including wallets, keys, and some other items, including a gun. When he broke into the second home, that's when he fired a shot that struck and killed Federico. Police say she was not the intended target. He then fled in a stolen vehicle and used her bank card before eventually barricading himself into a Lexington County home, which caught fire during a police standoff. Dickey was later captured and remains in custody. Logan's father described her as a fun-loving Taylor Swift fan who dreamed of becoming a teacher. Her friends now call themselves Logan's crew. They vow to keep her memory alive.
It took my daughter's life. This is from her. You can't kill my spirit. You might be able to kill my body, my physical, but you cannot kill my love that my family and friends shared with me.
You know, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. We don't do this often, but these are important. We fight for our victims, and it's important for us to tell a story. We're all moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and this touches all of us in a way that it'll never leave us.
At this time, Dickey is being held on a number of charges, including burglary and as well as murder. We're in South Carolina, guys. We'll send it back to you.
And Richard, I also know there's mention of what was a standoff and a house fire during the arrest of that suspect. Do police believe that suspect started that fire on purpose?
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of the charges that Dickey is facing now also includes arson. They say for setting that fire to that house that they also say he also broke into, that they captured him at.
All right, Richard Devane reporting live for us there along the South Carolina state line. Richard, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. How you feel in the next couple of days is going to be amazing. Check it out. We're in that range. Tuesday today, oh so nice. No problem by tomorrow. But we start feeling a little bit more sticky on Thursday and Friday, and that could lead to some storm fuel across the area. So just letting you know that this is overall perfection about how we're feeling. But then also, this brings up our mosquito meter. So mosquitoes ideally love temperatures above 80 degrees, a little bit closer to 90, they thrive. But it really is the moisture in the air that is their most abundant. So if you have a really humid, muggy day that's getting close to 90 degrees, that's actually a mosquito mecca. But at least for the coming days, you're going to see a low activity. But then once we get a little bit more moisture in the forecast, you can see more of a moderate level of mosquitoes going forward. Just letting you know, especially if you don't like those little vampires flying around. You have some of those upper level clouds that we're looking at through our Dallas camera. So we'll have a deck of clouds this morning, clear the skies, and then we'll have some more of those cumulus clouds starting to spotty themselves across the afternoon. I know, I just feel like I made up a new verb there, spotty themselves. And then you have a low pressure system that's going to dance its way off towards the north. It's this front right down here that we're still dealing with a lot of the atmospheric blocking, not a lot of movement here, and that's why that low is barely moving off towards the north. It's just locked down here, but that's going to keep constant fronts down to the south. That one is going to keep the moisture around. 2, more clouds. 3, constant rain chances. That's why today is easily the pick of the week, because the only day that absolutely is going to stay dry. We're around 80 degrees south and southeast of Charlotte, 78 to 77 across the greater Charlotte area. And then 66 degrees in Boone. It's already cloudier in the mountains. I think we're going to continue to be that status. Rain chances start tomorrow, but I think most of us are going to stay dry. It's really Thursday afternoons has best showers for a chance for showers and storms. And then Friday, I think we have a little bit more widespread activity to start off the day. So we're not looking at really any washout status till potentially on Monday, but honestly, there's still a lot of disagreement heading through the weekend. Right now, I only have a 20% chance for Saturday and Mother's Day. That could easily change, but it looks like a less likely chance for rain on Saturday and Mother's Day compared to what we have on Thursday and Friday. So as that low is moving its way off towards the north, it's going to actually introduce a few more fronts down to the south. That's going to allow scattered rain for Thursday, again on Friday, seeing very hit and miss activity through the weekend, but then a widespread low will start to creep into the Carolinas by the end of the weekend. So that's the one thing that could change. If I had any Mother's Day plans, I would do it a little bit earlier in the day, just in case that low does start to accelerate, even though things seem like they've been slowing down instead of really rapidly picking up the way the current pattern has been flowing. Pop-up clouds throughout the day, more clouds for tomorrow. Tomorrow overall is going to be a mostly cloudy day, some bright spots, but clouds definitely winning out the horizon. Slightest chance for rain. Feeling like it's going to rain more than actual rain showers measuring, so maybe a trace of rain for some of us. But then here's the big one. Thursday, seeing some showers and storms starting to bubble up the early to mid-afternoon. If this forms a line like this, I wouldn't be surprised if we will have a severe weather potential that starts to pop up. So we could have some severe thunderstorm warnings to end the afternoon and begin the evening. So stand by with that. But look at that. That rain's not giving up. The front will lift back up, leaving widespread rain in a wet morning commute on Friday. So there's still a lot of question marks with the forecast. Coming up, I'm going to talk a little bit more about our drought status, how much rain you could see over the next 7 days. And of course, our Gala Roofing 7-day forecast. I'll see you soon. But first, we have to check how your morning commute is behaving on this whatever alliteration Tuesday.
It's certainly a busy Tuesday morning out there as we take a live look outside. This is over I-77 over towards Huntersville, and especially slow on those southbound lanes as drivers make their way inbound into Charlotte. So right now, drive times have gone up from Matthews to Uptown to about 34 minutes if you're traveling on Independence Boulevard. Salisbury to Uptown on 85, about 60. Waxhaw 39. And Belmont on 85 at 24 minutes. Here's a look at big picture. Still lots of red pretty much everywhere you look. Allow plenty of extra time if you were headed out early on this morning. A couple of incidents out there, including this one. This is going to be at Harrisburg Road at Reedy Creek Road, causing a stretch of delays there. And in addition, still have this one. This is over towards South Charlotte at Park Road at that intersection of Glen Eagles Road. Still seeing some yellows there, indicating some minor slowdowns as well. Also towards the University City area, still have this active crash that did involve a school bus, and this is blocking one lane of traffic on inbound North Tryon Street at Owen Boulevard. You will want to avoid the area.
Well, this morning, a meltdown at Newark International Airport has lawmakers calling for an investigation. Officials say ongoing issues started after a walkout by air traffic controllers, in addition to runway construction and equipment outages due to outdated technology.
It is all leading to travel nightmares for passengers. Reporter Romney Smith has the latest for us from Newark this morning.
We've been tracking the delays and cancellations all morning long, and they continue to increase. As you can see behind me, they are highlighted in orange on the big boards displaying the travel plans today from the airport. And it's been a common sight for the past week at Liberty Newark International Airport, really frustrating travelers. Take a listen.
They got to get it under control. I mean, you know, they have to make sure that people are able to get to work on time the next day. It really impacts people's lives across, the United States.
On Monday alone, Newark Liberty International Airport experienced at least 365 delays and 160 cancellations. It's a common sight recently, which is concerning. Officials say the travel troubles are being caused by a combination of issues, including an ongoing shortage of air traffic controllers, quote, antiquated technology, old equipment, current runway construction, and on top of all of that, inclement weather. The problems really ramped up last week after air traffic controllers took a legal leave of absence after losing contact with an aircraft. The FAA confirmed that incident. However, they didn't detail how many air traffic controllers left. Now, New Jersey's governor, Phil Murphy, is pushing to get more air traffic controllers to help Newark Liberty run like normal. Governor Murphy wrote a letter to U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy detailing the issues and requesting that our area be prioritized when it comes to Congress allocating money for technology and facility upgrades. And New York Senator Chuck Schumer also trying to help, calling for an investigation into the airport's issues. Take a listen.
they knew that there were shortages, they offered a $10,000 bonus to 13 different air traffic control towers, but not to Washington, Philadelphia, or New York. Why?
One of the biggest concerns is to make sure that we can resolve the transportation issues, not only for locals, tourists, and business people, but also to make sure that next year everything is flowing smoothly, because we expect more than 500,000 more travelers because of the World Cup finals here. Ben, Lisa, back to you.
All right, Romney, thanks for that report. And take a look at this. This is a live look right now at the FlightAware misery map. You can see Newark nearly leading the country this morning with delays and cancellations. As of right now, the airport already reporting 45 delays, 13 cancellations. Dallas also facing a lot of issues this morning, but that's due to a storm system.
Today is your last day to get a real ID before tomorrow's deadline. Starting tomorrow, you will need a real ID to fly domestically in the United States and to enter any federal buildings. This morning, DMV officials are warning about long lines at offices across North Carolina, but a reminder that there is no need to rush unless you plan to take a flight anytime soon. A valid passport, a green card, or military ID can be used if you don't have a real ID. Happening today in North Carolina, the House Finance Committee is expected to discuss a bill that could finally give the state's DMVs a break. House Bill 821 would extend the life of existing licenses by another 2 years. Lawmakers say it would allow the DMV to catch up with its growing backlog. That meeting is happening in less than an hour, starting at 9 this morning.
A major development overnight in the North Carolina Supreme Court race. A federal judge now ordering the State Board of Elections to certify incumbent Democrat Allison Riggs as the winner of that race. It comes after Republican challenger Jefferson Griffin lost by just 734 votes. For the last 6 months, he's been challenging tens of thousands of ballots. Now that judge says those efforts are unconstitutional. Griffin has 7 days to appeal. His team says they are reviewing the order.
Well, starting tomorrow, you will notice a new face joining the WCNC Charlotte morning team.
Ladies and gentlemen, Majestic Storm, welcome to the team. Nice to have you.
Welcome.
We made your big debut this morning on the broadcast.
Yes.
And so folks are already getting to know you. You're now officially here. You're on socials.
It's official now.
We've talked about this, but I do feel
it's worth repeating.
Worth repeating. And we're probably going to have to talk about it several more days because
it kind of just goes with the name. I'm used to it, and it's fine. I can talk about it because I think people are so curious. Is that really your real name, Majestic? And it is. Everyone's like, is that your real name or your stage name? And I was just born with a weather name, but it wasn't until after I was already like really, really interested in weather that I realized that I had one of those names that either really work or they don't, but they're one of those names you don't forget.
But you said you became fascinated with the weather because your mom would make weather events a big deal.
Yes, so I grew up with a single mom in Eastern Washington in this little tiny town called Medical Lake on a dirt road, and she would make every single weather event so fun. From the first big snowfall, she would take me out of school. She's like, surprise, we're having a snow day. And then it would rain in the summertime. She's like, all right, put on your swimsuit. We're taking our showers outside today. So whatever it was those small things that became really nostalgic for me. And then I loved news, so I got my journalism degree, but then I really wanted to become a scientist, a meteorologist. So that was a challenge because I'm naturally just a storyteller. That's kind of why I got my journalism degree first, but wanted to really become a meteorologist to learn the science of weather, because it's more than just a fun personality in the morning, really turning to somebody who you can trust when it comes to severe storms. And really that's what I've learned in Arkansas over the last 3 years, and now I'm here.
I don't know what we're going to do if we have a storm that say is like really pretty, or some would say majestic.
Right.
And we're going to get very, very confused. So you've been here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
How's it going so far?
It's been a lot of fun. We rented a U-Haul. We stuffed everything in there. My dad came all the way from Seattle to Arkansas to drive our U-Haul to North Carolina. It took us about 20 hours to do it, and our halfway point was this random Airbnb in Tennessee that was gorgeous. And I'm not a hotel type of girl. I'm like, we're doing something out of the ordinary, very fun. So it was like on a creek, it lit with string lights all in the forest. My dad had no clue. He thought we were going somewhere normal.
Yes.
And we had to go through the forest, and it was so much fun. Charlotte so far has been interesting. I'm very excited. I've never lived in a city before. Like I said, I grew up on a dirt road.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of person where I can live anywhere. I embrace it. I love change. I love meeting new people. I love exploring. I think when people think of me, they think of the weather, but they also think about the adventures that I love to do myself. But I also love to bring viewers along with me to do those things.
And with a name like Majestic Storm, I mean, how can you not?
Right.
I'm curious what makes you so excited about forecasting in this area. Had you been to Charlotte before? Had you visited prior to coming here?
No, just for the job. You know, I really haven't spent a lot of time at all on in the southeast. But really, my biggest goal as a meteorologist was to just get as much experience as I can when it comes to different weather patterns across the country. So I got to start my first job at the station that I grew up watching. So out there in Washington State, in Spokane, Washington. And then from there, kind of just learned about Montana, Idaho, Washington. And then from there, once I became a meteorologist, I wanted to do something more severe. So I was like, I'm moving anywhere south. And I ended up in Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, which is such a cool spot. But that's where I really learned how to track storms that matter and doing really long days, but really just knowing the importance of my job. So next it was just, okay, well, I've never lived in the southeast. I've never lived anywhere near the ocean and never learned about you know, hurricane impacts. Of course, I don't want big impacts, of course, for us directly, but learning how to really track it and to talk about it and how to keep people safe, because you can only learn so much when it comes to, you know, textbook school stuff.
And hurricane season is less than a month away, so just in time.
And I'm very excited to work alongside Chris. He just was a cherry on top when the job was offered, and then you meet Chris, it's like, all right, sold. If you get to start your morning with somebody like that, then
you don't have to tell us.
No, you
don't have to
as
tell
well
us.
too. You're a bundle of energy. I'm super excited to work along with you as well. We're going to learn, we're going to grow together, and also, most importantly, we're going to have a lot of fun here on WCNC and WCNC Plus.
I mean, between the two of them.
I don't know. I don't know what.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right, so
I need more coffee.
all right, so speaking of coffee, are you a coffee, tea, energy drink? What's your morning? Do you need a
coffee? I love coffee. So I'll drink usually just like black coffee with a little milk splashed in there. Nothing too
Your beverage of
wild.
choice.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. We
But
like
I
it.
love mornings. You know, people are like, you wake up at what time? And for us, it's like we're used to it, you know. But it's a lot of fun to just start your day like this. Start your day with some good energy, and we're just the early birds really getting the worm, I think.
You two are doomed. You guys are now surrounded by this. I have somebody on my energy level. I was like, let's go.
I know.
Send help.
Well said. Well said. No, we honestly.
No, you guys are great.
We are so excited to have you, and you will. You'll love the station. We have outstanding people here, but you'll love the city of Charlotte, the whole region. I mean, it's, as I always tell people, it's impossible not to love Charlotte.
And I haven't heard really any bad thing about Charlotte. Everyone, whether they live here or just know about Charlotte, like, oh, you're going to love it so much.
You are
And the
gonna
city
love it.
itself is gorgeous. I've never, you know, lived where there's a beautiful skyline, and when I've been coming into work, I love how the colors, or the city changes colors all the time.
Yeah.
This is so cool. I can see it at night and during the daylight each day. So experiencing the city is going to be a lot of fun. But like I mentioned, I love all outdoors things. So the Greenway has been a lot of fun. I'm excited to go to Lake Norman, go camping, all the nature things. So if you have any recommendations for me, please let me know, because that's kind of how I like to spend my weekends, out exploring.
Landed in the perfect spot.
Yeah,
perfect spot.
We're so happy you're here.
Mecklenburg County is known for its parks and its creeks and its streams, so you have a lot to explore.
I'm getting quite familiar with the Little Sugar Creek.
Oh yeah, you know it.
That's right.
All right, so I'm now going to transition over, because we're going to be talking about some of the biggest impacts that we've been dealing with the weather, and it's not the one you would really think about. It's about the dry air. And check this out. For our drought monitor, South Carolina officially is in a status that they need desperate rain, especially along the coast, unless we're going to start to see really an upgrade to potentially an extreme drought status. So we have about 9% of South Carolina under a severe drought. Over half is under an official drought. That's that word moderate that you see there. Meanwhile, North Carolina has 7.4% under severe drought. So what does that exactly mean? Whenever we're talking about just an abnormally dry forecast, that means that, hey, the lawns in general are starting to turn brown. But then once you get to official drought status, that's that moderate one, that starts to stress crops. Hay production is often reduced. Signs of wildlife tree damage can be prolonged, and stream flow. We just brought up the creeks and the streams. That's going to start to come down, and depending on how deep we get into this, areas that are now along the shoreline could potentially be into voluntary water conservation and also could turn into mandatory if we don't desperately get some rain. And one of the last ones that happens in a D2, severe drought, wildfires are difficult to extinguish, and we just had one, and we've been reporting one that was around Boiling Spring Lakes, and that was right down here, just around the Wilmington area. So this area desperately needs rain. It's one of the driest points that we have across the region. So rain is needed. Luckily, over this last week, we saw a lot of thunderstorms roll through, and even the Charlotte area really did help out with the amount of rain that we saw as of recently. So let's go through some of the upcoming rain chances. I think the rain that we see on Monday alone looks to be some of the best chance. It depends, though. Down in South Carolina, it's going to rain. Widespread, especially on the back end, because notice only one of these bars stands out from the rest. So it's likely that we'll see rain on Monday. However, by tomorrow, I might be upgrading your Thursday and your Friday to a scattered to a likely range, because things are really starting to favor more thunderstorm development as another front gets a little bit closer. You don't necessarily always need the front directly over us, but it helps. This is what happens. Tomorrow, we see the clouds. The clouds potentially could turn darker, and they could provide a brief light rain shower. Don't really think we're seeing any thunderstorms. We're way too dry by tomorrow. It starts to feel a little bit stickier by the time you get to about your Thursday. That's going to bring some scattered rain, I think, starting off the morning, but watch the afternoon. This area of blue, it's a shading down by the Storm Prediction Center, meaning that there's just a general chance for thunderstorms. They label it as general thunderstorms. This is a scenario that I would not be surprised if is upgraded to a chance for severe by Thursday, or even as early as tomorrow, kind of warning what could happen in the afternoon, because things are starting to line up. This is that classic 1 or 2 thunderstorms gathers together and forms a line. And if we get any bows, we could have some strong winds associated with this. And if we get enough wind shear, you could have a spin-up tornado. As of right now, it looks like just a chance for gusty winds, some hail initially, but this is how we could begin the middle of the afternoon, end the afternoon, and start the evening, depending where you are. So this is really a flourishing setup. So I'm going to say that Thursday, not quite weather alert status yet. Just be aware that storms are going to pop during that day. Highs right around 81 degrees. That's the warmest. Cloudier skies on Friday. I think the first half of your Friday is pretty wet, and then we'll have some spotty rain showers after that. Saturday and Sunday, I brought things down to only a 20% chance for rain. Not saying that Mother's Day isn't going to see rain. It just looks less likely compared to what we have Sunday night heading into Monday. But stand by, because there's still a lot of unsettled weather heading our way for the weekend, all depending what those fronts do, as they're barely moving just to the south of us. Hopefully traffic's not barely moving. Let's double check with Becca.
Oh, it is barely moving up towards Huntersville, and that is due to a crash on I-77 northbound at Hambright Road. It's really on the right-hand side of your screen over here, where you can see some of the slowdowns not impacting the toll lanes. But we did just get the go-ahead that this is cleared to the shoulder, but traffic is still moving slowly because of it. Just keep that in mind. Also, over towards East Charlotte, 1 lane of traffic is blocked off now due to this crash on inbound Independence Boulevard just after Albemarle Road, and this is blocking that left-hand lane over there. Also have a crash on Cool Springs Lane at the intersection of Ray Road, and then over towards South Charlotte Park Road at Glen Eagles Road. That crash is still in the intersection. Zooming out big picture, still got lots of problem spots out there. Allow yourself plenty of extra time if you're headed out early.
Thanks, Becca. Well, trending this morning, we can't take our eyes off what everyone was wearing at the annual Met Gala.
Last night, celebrities walked what is the blue carpet at the Metropolitan Museum in New York City, all showcasing some spectacular fashions inspired by the year's theme, super fine tailoring black style. And once again, Rihanna stole the show. Take a look. She showed up at the gala, also sporting a new baby bump, we should say. She arrived at 10 o'clock, about an hour after everybody else, but that's okay because she's Rihanna.
That's Riri.
She can do it. She wore a really cool pinstripe gown with a crop suit jacket, nice little hat, showing off that baby bump. Looking good.
Check this out. Kim Kardashian showed up fashionably late in a fitted leather two-piece set. It's from Chrome Hearts, a brand she has supported and worn for several big events over the last few years. And from Kim Kardashian to Kendall Jenner, she made heads turn going braless underneath a gray blazer with a matching NSFW fitted skirt. She also wore a statement diamond choker necklace and some diamond earrings there.
And then there's Kylie to round out the Kardashians. Made an appearance at the Met Gala showcasing her fashion-forward style in a skin-tight gown that turned heads in its custom Ferragamo gown, which featured a sweetheart neckline and black corseted bodice. I feel like I'm on E right now.
You did a great job with that. All right. In case you were wondering, tickets to the Met Gala were $75,000. That's just for one, with the proceeds going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute.
Up next, Oscar fashion. No kidding.
No.
We won't do that.
We're done.
We won't do that to you. Instead, live pictures right now over our fair city right now on a Tuesday morning. Coming up in just about a minute, a check of the forecast. Today is going to be a great one. Get out and enjoy it. Also got to check of traffic. That's coming your way, plus headlines at 8:30 on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. 78 degrees is your high today. I'm Demon. Today is my pick of the week. Beautiful blue skies, picking up a few more clouds during the afternoon. It's going to feel great. Do not let this one slip through your fingers, people. Do you know why? Because we're going to be seeing rain chances pretty much each and every day. Now, some days stand out from the rest. Now, I think Thursday, better chance for storms. Could have widespread rain to begin your Friday. And then Monday, well, it's pretty far out, but it's looking like mostly rain throughout the day. As for your Mother's Day, there will be a slight chance for a shower, but most hours stay dry. Highs either side of 70 degrees heading through the weekend. The warmest day, though, Thursday. Highs right around 80 degrees. And again, that is our next chance for showers and thunderstorms big across the area. Back at what's going on for your morning commute.
It's still busy out there as we take a live look outside from I-85 at the University City Boulevard. This is actually one of the spots that is looking good this morning right now. No issues, both those north and southbound lanes. But got a couple of other problem spots, including this one. This is over towards East Charlotte, inbound Independence Boulevard after Albemarle Road currently has one lane of traffic blocked off due to a crash, and it is causing some pretty significant delays in and around that area. Right now, 77 northbound still slow, as well as 85 northbound, and we've got about 25 active crashes and incidents just across the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, including this one. This is going to be over towards South Charlotte at Cool Springs Lane at Ray Road, and then also this one in the intersection at Park Road at Glen Eagles. Drive safe, y'all.
streaming live right now at 8:30 right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. New homes are finally going up on the former Eastland Mall site, but some of them come with a hefty price tag, with starting prices just under $600,000.
WCNC Charlotte's Walker Lawson found out what some in the community think about this next phase of redevelopment.
Well, behind me, you can see those structures are already starting to go up for those homes and townhomes that are being priced at right around $500,000 starting out. Now, that price point has led to some confusion on this side of town, as people are saying it's an area that's exploding with affordable housing.
It's ridiculous. I don't see how they can get that much.
For some East Charlotte residents, the new price tag at Eastland Yards feels out of touch.
The way Charlotte's growing and everything, they're making it unaffordable.
The development is part of a 78-acre plan to reimagine the former Eastland Mall site, blending residential, retail, and even a future sports and entertainment complex. The homes, now officially listed for sale, are part of what's called Central Village at Eastland Yards and include 38 single-family homes and townhomes. Developer Saucy Burbank calls it a thoughtfully designed neighborhood aimed at shaping East Charlotte's future. So far, they say they've seen interest, but not as much as they were hoping for.
Good number of like 30 or 40 people so far. It doesn't seem, I mean, obviously you're going to have a couple people push back on the price point and say, hey, it's a little bit more than they hoped. But I'd say the collective mass has said, hey, that doesn't seem to be our challenge, right? So I think the area it's one of those redeveloping areas, right? It's the city starting to kind of grow, starting to push out.
City Council member Marjorie Molina, who represents the district, says opinions in the community are divided.
Some say we have too many affordable units, and some would say we need as many as we can get, right?
Molina believes it's good to have a mix on the former Eastland Mall site, as they've already cut the ribbon on some affordable housing units on the property.
Again, it's a mixed development, right? For sale, for rent, diversity of age, diversity of income, diversity of offerings, and I think it's a decent mix.
Saucy Burbank expects the home builds to take 4 years. Reporting in East Charlotte, Walker Lawson, WCNC Charlotte.
A controversial story that's, as you know, been years in the making. I mean, that plot is set empty for, I think, almost 15 years now.
Okay.
And you went to the old Eastland.
I was saying, I remember back in the day, many years ago as a child, going to Eastland Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the place to be in East Charlotte.
It was.
And as far as the development there, I mean, this is what the city is trying to do I mean, this is a microcosm, but you don't want to completely gentrify a neighborhood and push out everybody who's been
Correct.
there. You do want to bring in some new blood and wealth and money.
Yes.
And so what you're seeing there is, you heard the city councilwoman talk about a mix. That's really what they try to do with a lot of these places, is bring in a mix of incomes,
right.
A mix of diversity of backgrounds of people, so that you don't drive out everybody who's lived there, but you do create an opportunity for newcomers and people with money.
And the thing is, people are in different phases and stages of life, right? So there are people who've lived there for years in the area who would like to stay there. New people coming into the Charlotte area, of course, looking for housing and, you know.
What city leaders will tell you is the aim of all of our development plans and the 2040 plan and the zoning and all that stuff is to try to create neighborhoods where people can live at all phases of their life, so that they can be born there.
Yes.
They can live there while they have their working years. They can retire there, and so people aren't forced to make these difficult decisions of like, oh, I can no longer afford this neighborhood because my neighborhood now has a variety of different housing options, and that's what they're trying to do. Some will debate whether or not they're being successful, but that's
and I'm sure it's a challenge, and of course not unique to Charlotte, but in a city like this, it's always going to be an issue.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and get a check of your forecast around 8:34 right now here on WCNC Plus.
Let's do it. Check out our Dallas cam. We still have a chunk of clouds across the area, and see these little lines of sunlight. So you usually call it just rays of sunlight. The technical weather word is actually crepuscular rays. I always have trouble saying that one, but there it is. That's your weather term for the day, crepuscular rays. Something you'll hopefully never have to say, because I even sound like I have peanut butter in my mouth. Now, your pick of the week is today, so you don't have to wait. 78 degrees. You're looking at some upper level clouds. You were just looking at them right there. And then we'll pick up a few more clouds, really those puffy cumulus clouds, the cotton ball like ones that kind of look like the background of a story or a Toy Story intro. Well, those are going to be on and off throughout the middle of the afternoon. Highs today, 78, 80 degrees right around Shira, and then we have the mid to the upper 60s up in the high country. I think it's going to be a little bit cloudier here. At least you don't have the rain that you had yesterday. And it's Taco Tuesday. Who's ready? I had tacos yesterday for Cinco de Mayo, so I'm not having them today, sadly, and now I'm upset. Maybe you can go back-to-back tacos. That sounds great, right? Temperatures in the mid-70s from 6 to 7, and then the upper 60s by 9 p.m. is going to be a delightful evening for whatever you do and whatever you eat. Our low temperatures dropping back down to about 52 degrees. That's been the bottom for Charlotte over the last couple of days. And then the mid to the upper 50s rolling forward. And we'll keep that around for our lows heading into the weekend. Tomorrow, things change. The big change that you need to know about the cloud cover, it's going to be a much cloudier day. So yeah, we're picking up scattered clouds today, but tomorrow it could be overcast at times, even some darker clouds on and off throughout the afternoon. Highs mainly in the lower 70s, but I think we will just spike to the mid 70s because there will be some breaks in the clouds. Here's what our futurecast looks like trying to get to that point. Few spotty to scattered clouds throughout the day. You can see a lot more white here on the map for your Wednesday. That's a mostly cloudy sky turning overcast by the afternoon. Barely any green. So I think if you do see any rain, it's going to be very, very light. But Thursday, that is the weather highlighter in the near term. I think you have a chance for a little bit of rain in the morning. At this point, a front is starting to edge towards the area. It's a warm front. That's going to crank Mother Nature's thermostat up into the lower 80s. But then, boom, thunderstorms. Yeah, we're going to have a chance for pop-up showers and thunderstorms starting as early as 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it could form a line. If this scenario comes to fruition, I think a few of these cells could be deemed severe. So some severe thunderstorm warnings are not out of the question to end the day. There is still a lot that can change here, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Storm Prediction Center is going to put us at least under a low chance for severe storms for this coming Thursday. So not weather alert as of yet, just looks to be really scattered. And then heading into the weekend, I think that we have more rain for the first half of your Friday, more dry hours than wet ones for Saturday and Sunday, but definitely more clouds than sunshine. Mother's Day, maybe a few showers here and there, but most hours going to stay dry again, the lower 70s. So you should have a lot of quality outdoor time with mom. But then once you get into Monday, Sunday into Monday night, a low pressure system starts to take over. That could bring hours of rain to start next work week. Hopefully you're not waiting in hours of traffic, but I know just the person to ask. Becca, how's it looking?
Chris, traffic is slowly starting to settle down after a packed Tuesday morning commute, but just keep in mind that it is still very slow out there, especially inbound from York to Mecklenburg County on 77 northbound. That is basically going to be stop and go traffic, as well as the inner loop of 485 over towards Matthews in the Mint Hill area. Live look outside over towards York County, and this is one of the slow spots that I was mentioning on 77 northbound. As you approach Mecklenburg County, again, that is stop and go traffic. Want to get to a couple of the problem spots out there, including this one. This is that crash in East Charlotte on inbound Independence Boulevard after Albemarle Road, and it is blocking one lane of traffic on the left-hand side of your screen there. And just looking at big picture, got a couple of other incidents out there, and also this one. It's going to be a crash on North Tryon Street southbound at Eastway Drive, just causing a few minor delays there. And also still have that active crash at Cool Springs Lane at the intersection of Ray Road.
8:38 right now here on WCNC Plus, and now to Lancaster, where a 12-year-old has pleaded guilty to intentionally starting a fire inside a Walmart. 12 years old. This video from a viewer shows the flames and chaos erupting inside the store Sunday. It happened at the same Walmart where 2 people were hurt in a shooting last month. Thankfully, in this case, nobody was hurt. Right now, the suspect is expected to remain in police custody for a mental evaluation before facing a judge.
In Ballantyne, a man is facing serious charges after an act of vandalism was caught on camera. It shows a man slashing dozens of tires Saturday at a public store. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre spoke to victims who say this could have gone very differently.
In the matter of moments, a quiet parking lot in Ballantyne turned into a crime scene. marked by flat tires and shaken customers Saturday. Surveillance video shows a man moving through the parking lot with what appeared to be a pocket knife in hand, slashing tires.
I saw him probably stab like 5 different cars while I was driving away, just going up to the cars and just stabbing it with a knife and slashing the tires.
So we all coming down and see he already stabbed 2 of my client tire parked over here. And so we look all over, all these cars in the front row got stabbed.
CMPD arresting 30-year-old Darren Ransom and charging him with 40 counts of injury to personal property.
I'm glad he's safely off the streets, but I'm hoping he can get whatever help he needs.
Ransom was set to appear in court Monday to answer to those charges, but he never stepped into the courtroom. He also refused to take a mugshot and refused to provide fingerprints. He remains behind bars.
He definitely seemed a little bit disturbed, to say the least.
Joshua Lewis was one of the victims listed on the police report.
I could see he got about 3 of my tires, so yeah, very unfortunate, but glad nobody got hurt.
Despite the scare, people are relieved no one was hurt.
Some people were a little scared, but you know, like I said, we saw that he wasn't going after anybody in particular, so I think we were all just collectively glad about that.
Charlotte's city manager presented the 2026 budget to leaders last night. The nearly $943 million plan covers funding for police, transit, and housing. And while it does not include any property tax increases, costs for other services like waste and water will go up, totaling an extra $7.50 a month. Officials say the proposal also assumes Mecklenburg County voters will approve a 1-cent sales tax later this year to pay for future transit projects. But if that doesn't pass, the city will need another revenue source.
We have 2,000 projects that we need to find a funding source for. And it just seems that having the sales tax makes a lot of sense because, one, it's immediate, and about 30% of it comes from people who don't live in Mecklenburg County.
The budget also would raise the minimum wage for city employees to $25 an hour and include pay raises for police and firefighters.
Happening today, President Trump is hosting a key player in his tariff tug-of-war, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. The face-to-face comes as the relationship with one of our strongest allies has soured amid the ongoing trade war. NBC's Alice Barr is breaking down what we know ahead of the meeting.
A fair deal. We were losing hundreds of billions.
President Trump sitting down today with Canada's new prime minister amid hopes to dial down trade tensions between the neighboring allies.
I'm not sure what he wants to see me about, but I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does.
Prime Minister Mark Carney campaigned on standing up to President Trump over his new tariffs, including on Canadian steel and aluminum, and his frequent references to Canada becoming the 51st state.
President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us. That will never, ever happen.
Ahead of today's meeting, Carney posted this video of his D.C. arrival, promising to work with the U.S. to strengthen both countries. The Trump administration signaling trade deals with foreign leaders could start rolling out in the coming weeks, though China appears deadlocked with its 145% tariff on imports to the U.S. As President Trump again acknowledged some prices will go up for U.S. consumers in his quest to remake global trade.
You said dolls could cost a couple bucks more.
Maybe they might.
Senate Democrats pressing for legislation to exempt small businesses from tariffs.
Trump's tariff tax is jacking up prices, smashing supply chains, forcing small shops to raise costs, lay off people.
As Hollywood grapples with the president's not yet finalized proposal to slap tariffs on movies made outside the U.S., many fearing that would hurt an industry battered by COVID, strikes, and recent wildfires. Production has increasingly moved overseas, with foreign nations offering financial incentives. Tax incentives here, something advocates like California's governor argue would better restore U.S.-made movie magic. On immigration, the Trump administration is offering new incentives to migrants who are willing to self-deport, including travel assistance and a $1,000 stipend. The Department of Homeland Security says that's much cheaper than the $17,000 it costs to detain and deport. President Trump says some people could then return legally. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
8:44 now, time for us to connect the dots. When we make the news, it makes sense. President Trump, as you heard, is targeting Hollywood's global footprint, saying it's time to bring movie production back to the U.S.
President Trump says he's slapping a 100% tariff on all movies made outside the U.S. Let's connect the dots. The president says foreign countries are using big tax breaks to lure movie productions away from America, and it's hurting Hollywood. He called it a national security issue tied to messaging and propaganda. It's not yet clear how the tariff would work. Would it include streaming content or only blockbusters in theaters? Countries like Australia, New Zealand, and the UK say the tariffs could crush their film industries. One UK union says it could cost tens of thousands of jobs. American productions have been leaving Hollywood for years, chasing cheaper filming in places like Canada and Europe. About half of big-budget U.S. films are now shot abroad. Critics warn the tariffs could backfire, triggering retaliation and putting even more American film jobs at risk. And that's connecting the dots.
A culinary competition is heating up and making waves throughout Charlotte. The Charlotte Regional Farmers Market has added a new cooking competition called Can You Cook?
Sounds fun. The inaugural cook-off will put local amateur chefs to the test. Participants will create dishes using only ingredients purchased fresh from the market that morning. WCNC Charlotte's Miles Harris live for us this morning. He's famous for, I guess, what's called a cookie pie. And Miles, this is all about showcasing young chefs.
That's right, Ben. Famous is a bit of a strong word, but look, hey, who doesn't love a little bit of competition, especially when it includes food? Well, that's exactly. Bringing an epic culinary cook-off to life and right in Charlotte. Can You Cook is a local competition putting local chefs to the test.
I created the event to educate consumers and shoppers on cooking with real whole foods.
The concept is simple but challenging. Chefs get 45 minutes to showcase the quality and variety of local produce while promoting the importance of supporting local farmers and food producers. John Rhodes, who created the event, says it's aimed at inspiring our community about healthier options.
The food system, man, it's not set up for our best interests at all. Coupled with a fitness industry that's selling us numerical expectations that does not prepare us for the commitment, I wanted to create something to where I can educate the community on cooking with real whole foods and also taking care of my personal body, my own personal body, and showing that at my events.
Contestants range from home cooks to culinary students, all passionate about farm-to-table cooking, serving more than entertainment but education surrounding healthy food for all to enjoy.
And that's what we wanted to bring to the community. You don't have to just be a chef, because at the end of the day, we all need to eat and we love good food.
Ben and Lisa, now they are scheduled to have their next cook-off here at the Charlotte Regional Farmers Market on May 25th. And the good news is that it's actually open to the public. But if you want to be more involved, if you want to try the food, even have a vote when it comes to who has the better cooking dish, well, you can actually do that as well. There are tickets available. And as far as that information, be sure to download our WCNC Charlotte mobile app, clicking on this story and getting all that information and more. Guys.
All right. And so, Miles, if you had to do this, are you sure you would still do the cookie pie or something else?
I got to mix it up. I got to be honest with you. You got to do healthier food options. So the cookie pie may not make the cut, but maybe some other things. We'll have to put it to the test and maybe find out.
Wow, very good.
Heard it here. All right, Miles.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir. 448 or 848 rather. Here at WCNC Plus. Goodness, 4. Some of the Carolinas dealing with severe weather and tornadoes. Chris here to tell us all about it. Chris.
Luckily, today is a nice calm after some of the storms. Now, we had our most recent scare around Lincoln County. So there was an official tornado that was confirmed. Brad was live on air when this popped, and it was just after midnight. So technically, it was early on Sunday morning, where in Lincoln County, we had an EF0 touchdown, and that was just around the Lake Norman area. So it was about 1:30 officially. It moved over 1 mile of the eastern part of the county. Thankfully, no one was was hurt. And those strong storms also pushing through north central North Carolina. Several areas in this video, as you can see, a tornado is actually forming over Jamesville. Where you're looking right now is the video that is now popping up that was just around Lincoln County. But then there's that tornado that was in the northeastern side of town. This officially happened yesterday after 8 p.m. And this is just around the Outer Banks. So there was uprooted trees. The power was knocked out for thousands of customers. And then we also saw some wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. So where you're just looking off into the distance, you can't really tell too much about what the absolute strength is. And one common misconception about tornadoes is that tornadoes are based on damage. So you can have EF5 in the middle of a field. If there's no damage, you're not going to be able to really see the degree of what the strength of that tornado was. But this is a pretty sizable one. That would be at least EF1, maybe even approaching EF2 from a strong supercell that pushed through. You can actually see a lot of the vortices that are dancing around this, and then the effects of the trees around this. So this is again from a supercell, popped up at 8 o'clock yesterday. The National Weather Service is going to be out there reporting. And big thanks to Tammy Brown for letting her use our video. Whew, not what you like to see. Today you're not going to see anything close to that, but a little bit more about the tornadoes. EF0, 70 mile per hour winds is what we had for the one that we're calling the Cowens Ford Dam tornado. It was only on the ground for 3 minutes. Max width 20 yards. That is very, very small. The one that you were just looking at was at least 100 yards off into the distance, maybe even 200 yards. And that path was for over a mile. And typical QLCS tornado, those spin-up ones, usually only last anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. So that's a pretty average storm. Here's a closer look at the one that happened around Jamesville. So this is actually reported from a drone video. Multiple funnels also came associated with this, and you can see the supercell that was attached to this. This one was also trying to produce some sort of tornado as well, mainly just a lot of large hail, which a supercell 100% of the time is going to produce hail. And if you don't know what a supercell is, that really is just a rotating storm that has about a 30% chance of usually producing a tornado. Tornadoes aren't really going to be the main part of our forecast. Instead, I might talk about some gusty winds, some wind damage could potentially come from this system, but it's Thursday that I'm really zeroing in on. So let's get there. First off, our next rain chance, not today. Today's my pick of the week. This is all good. Highs in the upper 70s, and we have more sunshine than clouds. Tomorrow, more clouds than sunshine, and then here comes the rain. Spotty rain showers possible mid to late afternoon. I think tomorrow mainly looks like it's going to rain compared to the actual amount of rain that we're going to see, and if you do see rain, it's less than a 1/100th of an inch or maybe barely a trace. By Thursday morning, we have a chance for some rain, but I want to focus in on the afternoon. Right now, I think we already have a chance for general thunderstorms, but once you get to about the middle of the afternoon, a few storms could start to form a line. So this is classic. Whenever you have a storm system that turns into a multi-cluster of storms, that will gather strength and usually will garner a better chance for damaging winds, especially when they start to form a little bow, as we're starting to see here. However, if we do have the right amount of wind shear, you're seeing little notches, these little squiggles along the line, you could have spin-up tornadoes. So I'm not saying for sure that's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if by tomorrow or Thursday morning at the latest that we'll see a yellow shading on this map, meaning a chance for severe storms. That's late afternoon heading into the evening, so it could be a rocking evening commute. However, there's a lot that can still change with this, because if this front stops moving as they typically have been doing, then we have no severe weather chances, and that'll be further down to the south in South Carolina. Guy Roofing 7-day forecast shows temperatures all over the place, so this is really an unsettled pattern. That's why today was an easy choice for my pick of the week. The warmest and most unsettled day is Thursday. 81 degrees. It's also feeling a little bit stickier that day. That's why we have a chance for some strong storms. I think you're going to have rain overnight starting off your Friday, and then spotty showers possible through your Mother's Day weekend. Mother's Day itself, you're going to have several dry hours to spend with mom outside, but then Sunday night into Monday, that looks to be a wet one. Hours of rain possible to start off the week. However, if that system speeds up any, which hasn't really happened recently, it could affect your Mother's Day, so we'll keep you updated as it draws a little bit closer. And as the peak of our evening or morning commute draws to a close, Becca has one last report.
And I'm seeing some improvement in the traffic flow. Of course, one of our favorite picturesque spots is I-77 just north of Griffith Street alongside that Iredell-Mecklenburg County line. A gorgeous view, and traffic flow happens to be going well over there as well. Want to let you know first that this crash did clear East Charlotte. That was inbound Independence Boulevard after Albemarle Road. Don't have to worry about that for that morning commute. But further towards East Charlotte, got a new crash. This is now on inbound Albemarle Road after Lake Forest Road East and currently that right lane is blocked. Again, only one lane of traffic blocked off from that. In addition, this new incident just popped up. This is on Sardis Road at Preston Lane. Seeing some oranges there indicating some decent slowdowns there. Will likely add an extra minute or two to that morning commute. Still seeing lots of red indicating some slowdowns, of course. 77 northbound as you make your way from York inbound into Mecklenburg County. Also the outer loop of 485 towards Gastonia.
8:54 right now here on WCNC Plus, and we continue to take a look at the annual Met Gala.
Last night, celebrities walked the blue carpet at the Metropolitan Museum in New York City, all showcasing their spectacular fashions. They were inspired by the theme Superfine, tailoring black style.
Here's one we're going to show you that I think it was Lisa and I are number one.
Definitely.
Zendaya. I mean, just decked out, custom white Louis Vuitton suit and hat. Styled as usual by La Roche.
Did a great job with that.
Just timeless.
She nails it.
Yeah. I can say I don't even know that much about these things, but it just
it
just looks
it
nice.
looks great, right?
It looks nice. Not everybody was quite as put
There
together.
were some hits and there were a few misses, in my opinion.
Sure. What do we know?
By the way, we were invited because the tickets were $75,000.
Not to mention what you had to have on.
Right,
It's
getting
probably
there.
more than 75,000. Oh well.
All right, the proceeds went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We'll have another check here. Weather and traffic coming up. And then coming up at 9 a.m., our own Jay Monreal is going to take over from our live Impact Stream studio. She's going to be talking to a guest about Teacher Appreciation Week. That's right. All that plus breaking news as it happens right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everybody. Well, over the coming days, today is going to be the one that stands out from all the rest. The mid-60s with a few more clouds up in the mountains, blowing rock, Fleetwood still feeling amazing. Today's the pick of the week because, one, it's one of the warmer days that we have with sunshine. Outside of this, it looks like clouds are trying to take over most of our days. Not saying you won't see the sunshine for a week, but you have the upper 70s to around 80 degrees down to the southeast. Winds gusting up to about 20 miles per hour, but hey, it's a nice breeze. Winds also will continue to crank in some warmer air by your Thursday. Thursday's the next chance for thunderstorms, even though tomorrow you technically have a chance for rain. Becca, what do we need to know about your morning commute?
Chris, it's still slow out there, especially on I-77 northbound over towards York County. This is in Fort Mill on Gold Hill Road as drivers make their way inbound into Mecklenburg County. Just know that traffic has not let up, and especially as you get further down into South Charlotte, I-77 northbound at Nations Ford Road is still slow. Want to let you know about this crash in East Charlotte. This is impacting one lane of traffic on inbound Albemarle Road after Lake Forest Road East.